Audio adventures of the legend of Korra distorted reality. The spires of the northern ice palace pierced the frozen sky like jagged diamonds. Inside the great hall, the air tasted of salt and ancient frost. Empress Senna sat upon a throne carved from a single block of eternal ice, her robes a cascading river of deep indigo silk and white fox fur. Beside her stood Princess Korra, the Avatar, whose eyes held the coldness of a winter storm. "The reports from the south are disappointing, Korra," Empress Senna said, her voice a sharp blade that sliced through the silence. "The Earth rebels are not merely hiding, they are organizing." Korra crossed her arms, her posture rigid. "They are peasants playing with dirt, mother. A few more villages razed, and they will forget how to stand upright." "And yet, they have a lava bender," Senna replied, a thin smile touching her lips. "A rarity, a weapon. If the Earth Kingdom remnants find a way to weaponize the core of the Earth, your water shields will be nothing more than steam." Princess Mora, the youngest, lounged on a velvet divan, peeling a frozen grape with a silver knife. "Why bother with them? Just freeze the entire continent. Turn the Earth Kingdom into a giant ice cube. Then we can skate over the ruins. Your lack of foresight is almost as impressive as your laziness, Mora," Korra snapped. "Oh. Hush, sister," Mora giggled. "You're just grumpy because Lord Khazar is arriving today. I hear he's brought a very expensive gift to ensure you don't freeze his favorite gardens in Republic City." Korra's expression darkened. "Khazar is a governor, a tool for the Empire. Nothing more. A tool you are expected to marry," Senna reminded her. "The union between the royal bloodline and the administration of Republic City is the anchor of our rule. Do not let your temper outweigh your duty." The heavy crystalline doors groaned open. Lord Khazar entered, his stride confident, dressed in the opulent whites and blues of the high nobility. He bowed low, though his eyes remained fixed on Korra with a proprietary glint. "Empress Senna," Khazar murmured. "Princess Korra. The journey from the occupied territories was arduous, but the glory of the north makes every mile worth the struggle." "Cut the pleasantries, Khazar," Korra said, stepping forward. "Tell me about the Fire Tribe Islands. Are they still resisting?" Khazar straightened, a smug look on his face. "The Fire Tribe is fragmented. They fight in small cells, led by a few stubborn generals. However, there is a new alliance forming. The Fire Tribe is sharing intelligence with the Earth rebels. They've found a sanctuary in the mountains." "A sanctuary?" Senna asked, leaning forward. "Where?" "The high peaks of the Western Range," Khazar answered. "But they aren't alone. My spies report that the air hermits have emerged from their caves. Tenzin and his wife, Pema, are providing the rebels with aerial reconnaissance." Korra's eyes flashed. "Tenzin. The last of the cowards. He spent decades hiding in the clouds while we built an empire. He thinks he can play the savior now. He believes in balance, Princess," Khazar said smoothly. "A concept that is, unfortunately, quite outdated in the current era. Balance is for those too weak to hold the scales," Korra declared. "I will lead the expedition. I will bring Tenzin's head and the lava bender's hands back to this palace." "See that you do," Senna said. "And Korra, try to be charming with your fiancé. It would be a shame if the people thought the Avatar was incapable of basic etiquette." Thousands of miles away, in a cavern carved into the heart of a volcano, the air shimmered with oppressive heat. Bolin sat cross-legged on a slab of basalt, his brow drenched in sweat. He breathed deeply, his movements slow and rhythmic. Suddenly, he slammed his palms onto the stone. The rock didn't just crack, it liquefied. A river of glowing, orange lava surged forward, swirling around him like a loyal hound. "You're getting faster," a voice called out from the shadows. Mako stepped into the light, his red Fire Tribe tunic scorched at the edges. He looked at his brother with a mixture of pride and anxiety. "I have to be," Bolin said, the lava cooling instantly back into solid stone. "If Korra comes here, I can't just throw rocks at her. She'll just freeze them and use them as stepping stones. I need to change the environment. I need to make the ground too hot for her to touch." "She's the Avatar, Bolin," Mako said, leaning against the cavern wall. "She can bend the fire right out of your lava. She can bend the air to push the heat back at us. We're fighting a goddess who thinks she owns the world. She's not a goddess, Bolin countered, standing up and wiping his face. She's just a girl with too much power and a mother who told her she was a queen. That makes her arrogant. Arrogance is a gap in the armor. The Fire Tribe doesn't have armor anymore, Mako muttered. We have rags and hidden camps. If the Water Nation finds out we're coordinating with the Earth Rebels, they'll wipe out the islands. That's why Tenzin is here, Bolin said, gesturing toward the tunnel entrance. Tenzin entered the chamber, his movements fluid and silent. Beside him, Pema carried a bundle of medicinal herbs and maps. Tenzin's face was etched with a sadness that seemed to span generations. The Water Nation fleet has departed from the north, Tenzin announced. They are not coming to negotiate. They are coming to purge. We knew that, Mako said. Can your gliders get us the exact coordinates of their landing party? Pema and I have mapped the wind currents, Tenzin replied. But you must understand, Bolin, Mako, victory is not merely the absence of the enemy. If we win through slaughter, we only mirror the cruelty of Empress Senna. We must seek a way to break the cycle. With all due respect, Master Tenzin, Bolin said, it's hard to worry about the cycle when your boots are melting. We need to stop Korra before she reaches the coast. Pema stepped forward, her voice gentle but firm. Tenzin is right about the cost, but he is also right about the danger. Korra is not like the avatars of old. She doesn't seek harmony, she seeks dominion. If we fail here, the last remnants of the fire and earth cultures will be erased from history. Then we make the mountains a furnace, Mako said, his hands sparking with small, intense flames. Let's see how the water princess likes it when the air itself tries to burn her lungs. The Water Nation cruiser was a behemoth of enchanted ice and steel, gliding over the waves with unnatural speed. On the observation deck, Korra stood beside Kaza. The wind whipped her hair, but she didn't flinch. You seem tense, my dear, Kaza said, stepping closer. Are you worried about the rebels, or are you simply anticipating the thrill of the hunt? I'm anticipating the silence, Korra replied. The silence that comes after I've crushed every spark of rebellion in this hemisphere. Kaza chuckled, reaching out to touch her shoulder. Your ambition is your most attractive quality. Once we secure this region, Republic City will be yours to command as you wish. We can reshape it into a monument to your power. No more councils, no more petitions. Just your word as law. Korra turned to him, her gaze cold. And what do you get out of this, Kaza? Besides the prestige of being married to the Avatar. I get the stability of a world under one banner, Kaza replied. I prefer a world where the rules are clear, even if those rules are cruel. It's much more efficient than the chaos of democracy. Efficiency, Korra mused, a very governor-like word. Suddenly, a sharp whistle pierced the air. A gust of wind slammed into the deck, nearly knocking Kaza off his feet. Korra reacted instantly, thrusting her arms upward to create a wall of ice that shielded them. Above them, 3 figures descended on gliders, their silhouettes dark against the sun. Tenzin, Korra yelled, her voice booming. You've come to surrender in person. How thoughtful. Tenzin hovered in the air, his expression solemn. Korra, this path leads only to ruin. The world cannot breathe under the weight of your empire. Then let it suffocate, Korra screamed. She lunged forward, bending a massive pillar of water from the ocean below. The torrent surged upward like a giant serpent, snapping at Tenzin. Tenzin spun in the air, creating a powerful vortex that diverted the water, sending it crashing back into the sea in a massive spray. You've grown strong, Tenzin shouted over the wind. But you are fighting against the natural order. I am the order, Korra replied. She shifted her stance, her movements blurring. She launched a series of ice shards, each one as sharp as a needle. Pema, hovering nearby, used a small glider to redirect the shards with precise bursts of air, shielding Tenzin. You can't protect him forever, Pema. Korra laughed, her eyes glowing with a faint, menacing light. Kaza watched from the deck, his expression one of bored amusement. She's playing with them. She could have ended this in seconds if she wanted to. That's the problem with Korra, a voice whispered behind him. Kaza spun around to see a shadow darting across the deck. Before he could react, a hand grabbed his collar and slammed him against the railing. It was Mako, who had infiltrated the ship under the cover of the wind disturbance. "Who the hell are you?" Kaza gasped, struggling to breathe. "The guy who's going to make sure you don't enjoy the view," Mako snarled. He didn't use fire, he used a precise strike to the neck, knocking Kaza unconscious. Mako looked up to see Korra in the middle of her duel with Tenzin. He knew he couldn't take her alone. He reached into his belt and pulled out a small, concentrated explosive, a relic of the Fire Tribe's old military. "Bolin, now!" Mako yelled into a communication crystal. Far below the ship, beneath the waterline, Bolin had been swimming, holding his breath through a technique Tenzin had taught him. He pressed his palms against the hull of the ice ship. He didn't just bend the earth, he reached for the volcanic vents on the seabed. "Get ready to swim, princess!" Bolin roared. He unleashed a massive surge of lava, sending a plume of molten rock shooting straight up through the bottom of the cruiser. The interaction between the freezing ice of the ship and the searing heat of the lava created a violent explosion of steam. The ship shuddered violently. The deck buckled. Korra lost her balance, her concentration breaking. The water pillar she had been controlling collapsed, crashing down on her and the deck. Tenzin seized the moment, diving down and grabbing Korra with a powerful gust of wind, slamming her into the remaining ice structure. "It's over, Korra," Tenzin shouted. "Surrender, and we can find a way to restore the peace." Korra lay in the wreckage, steam rising from her clothes. She looked up at Tenzin, and for a moment, he saw a flicker of something, not regret, but a feral, untamed rage. "Peace," Korra whispered. Then, she screamed. The scream wasn't human, it was the roar of the Avatar state. Her eyes ignited into blinding white beacons. The ocean around the wreckage began to churn, rising in a massive, swirling whirlpool that threatened to swallow everything. "She's lost it," Bolin yelled, surfacing and swimming frantically toward the shore. Mako grabbed the unconscious Kaza, dragging him toward a floating piece of debris. "We have to get out of here before she levels the entire coastline." Korra rose from the ice, floating in the center of the storm. She didn't use one element, she used them all. She whipped fire from the air, shards of ice from the sea, and boulders from the seabed, creating a chaotic storm of destruction. "You think a little heat can stop me?" Korra's voice echoed with the resonance of 1,000 past lives. "I am the storm, I am the winter that never ends." Tenzin flew toward her, his face desperate. "Korra, listen to me. This power is not a weapon. It is a responsibility. My responsibility is to my mother. My responsibility is to the Empire." She launched a bolt of lightning, which Tenzin barely dodged. The blast hit the water, sending a shockwave that knocked Pema out of the sky. "Pema," Tenzin cried. Korra smiled, a cold, predatory expression. She dove toward Tenzin, her fist encased in a spiked gauntlet of ice. She struck him mid-air, the impact sending him spiraling down toward the jagged rocks of the shore. Mako and Bolin reached the beach just as Tenzin hit the sand with a heavy thud. They rushed to his side. "Is he alive?" Bolin asked, his voice trembling. "He's breathing," Mako said, checking Tenzin's pulse. "But he's out." Korra landed slowly on the beach, her feet clicking on the pebbles. The Avatar state faded, leaving her eyes clear and cruel. She looked at the three of them, the broken air nomad, the exhausted lava bender, and the desperate fire bender. She looked at the unconscious Kaza, who was slumped over a piece of driftwood. "You actually thought you could win," Korra said, her voice returning to its normal, mocking tone. "You thought a few tricks and a small explosion would change the map of the world." "We didn't want to change the map," Bolin said, standing up to shield Tenzin. "We just wanted to be left alone." "The Water Nation doesn't leave things alone," Korra replied. "We absorb them. We refine them. We make them better." She raised her hand, and a sphere of water hovered over her palm, swirling with lethal speed. "Wait!" Pema shouted, stumbling toward her. "Korra, if you kill us now, you only prove that you're a monster." "Is that what the Avatar is? A monster in a crown?" Korra paused. She looked at Pema, then at the wreckage of her ship. For a fleeting second, a shadow of doubt crossed her face. She remembered the stories Tenzin had tried to tell her when she was a child. stories of an avatar who walked among the people, who laughed and loved and protected the weak. But then, she remembered her mother's voice. Balance is for the weak. Power is the only truth. A monster, Korra mused. Perhaps. But I am a monster who wins. She didn't kill them. Instead, she bent the water to bind them, wrapping their limbs in unbreakable ice shackles. Killing you is too simple, Korra said. You're coming back to the north. My mother will be very interested to see the heroes of the rebellion in chains. And Tenzin, you will be the centerpiece of our new museum of extinct cultures. The return to the Ice Palace was a procession of shame. The prisoners were marched through the streets of the capital, where the citizens of the Water Nation cheered for their returning princess. Empress Senna stood at the top of the stairs, her expression one of cold satisfaction. Beside her, Princess Mora was eating a bowl of chilled fruit, looking bored. You're late, Korra, Senna said. And you've lost a ship. That is a costly mistake. I brought you the rebels, Mother, Korra replied, gesturing to the bound figures. And the air nomad. The ship was a small price to pay for such trophies. Senna looked at Tenzin, who refused to lift his head. The air nomad. The last shred of a dead world. How poetic. What do we do with them? Mora asked, glancing at Bolin. The lava boy is kind of cute. Can we keep him as a pet? He could heat the baths in the winter. Bolin glared at her. I'm not a pet. Oh. It speaks. Mora giggled. Korra stepped forward, her eyes narrowing. They will be kept in the dungeons until they provide the locations of the remaining rebel cells. Once they've served their purpose, we can decide if they're worth the cost of feeding. As the guards dragged the prisoners away, Lord Kazza approached Korra. He had recovered from his knockout, though he walked with a slight limp. A masterful victory, Princess, Kazza said, though his voice lacked its usual confidence. Though I must admit, the experience of being kidnapped was illuminating. Don't mistake my victory for mercy, Kazza, Korra whispered, leaning in close. If you ever fail to manage the occupied territories again, I won't just let you be kidnapped. I'll freeze you into a statue and put you in the garden. Kazza swallowed hard and bowed. Of course, Princess. Your will is law. Korra turned away from him, looking out over the frozen expanse of her empire. The wind howled, carrying the scent of snow and iron. She felt the power of the avatar humming in her veins, a roar of strength that drowned out the whispers of the past. She wasn't the protector the world had prayed for. She was the storm that had arrived to sweep the world clean. Weeks passed in the depths of the palace dungeons. The cells were carved from permafrost, the walls constantly weeping frozen tears. Bolin, Mako, and Tenzin sat in a shared cell, their spirits dampened by the oppressive cold. We can't just sit here, Bolin said, his teeth chattering. I can feel the heat of the earth, even through the ice. There's a volcanic vein running deep beneath this palace. It's too deep, Mako replied, hugging his knees. Even if you could reach it, we're shackled. We can't move. Tenzin, can you do anything? Bolin asked. Tenzin looked up, his eyes weary. The shackles are infused with spirit water. They dampen our bending. I can barely move a breeze. Then we wait, Mako said. We wait for a mistake. Korra doesn't make mistakes, Bolin sighed. Everyone makes mistakes, Tenzin whispered. Especially those who believe they are invincible. Korra's strength is her pride. She believes she has won because she has the chains. But the strongest bonds are the ones that cannot be seen. Suddenly, the cell door slid open. Princess Mora stepped in, carrying a tray of steaming soup. She looked at the three of them with a mischievous glint in her eyes. My mother is busy planning the coronation anniversary, Mora said, setting the tray down. And Korra is off training with the elite guard. She thinks you're all too broken to move. What do you want, Princess? Mako asked suspiciously. Mora leaned in, her voice dropping to a whisper. I'm bored. Terribly, excruciatingly bored. This palace is a tomb, and my sister is a tyrant who makes everything a competition. I don't actually like the Empire. I just like the clothes. Bolin blinked. You're helping us. I'm bored, Mora repeated. And I think it would be hilarious to see the look on Korra's face if her trophies vanished right before the gala. She reached into her sleeve and pulled out a set of iron keys. These will open the shackles. But you have to be fast. If the guards catch you, I'll deny I ever saw you. Why? Tenzin asked, his voice filled with wonder. Korra shrugged. Because the world is too gray. A little chaos makes the colors pop. She unlocked their shackles with a series of quick clicks. As the ice fell away, Bolin felt the warmth returning to his limbs. He looked at Mako and Tenzin, a spark of hope igniting in his chest. We can't just run, Tenzin said. We have to get the others out. We'll get the others, Mako promised. But first, we need to find a way to neutralize the spirit water senses. I can help with that, Korra said, standing up. The senses are routed through the west wing. If you create a distraction in the kitchens, the guards will swarm there, leaving the west wing open. You're a strange girl, Korra, Bolin said, giving her a small smile. I've been told I'm an acquired taste, she replied, gesturing toward the door. Now go. Before I change my mind and decide to turn you into ice sculptures. The gala was a sea of blue and white. The nobility of the Water Nation gathered in the Great Hall, drinking chilled nectar and discussing the expansion of the empire. Empress Senna sat upon her throne, with Korra standing beside her, draped in a gown of shimmering frost. The world is finally quiet, Mother, Korra said, surveying the crowd. Silence is the first step toward obedience, Senna replied. Suddenly, the floor beneath them groaned. A violent tremor shook the hall, sending glasses shattering and guests screaming. What is this? Senna demanded, standing up. A blast of searing heat erupted from the center of the room. The ice floor liquefied instantly, turning into a bubbling lake of lava. From the molten depths, Bolin emerged, his arms raised, his face set in a mask of determination. Surprise! Bolin yelled. Beside him, Mako unleashed a torrent of fire, creating a wall of flame that separated the guests from the guards. Tenzin descended from the rafters, a powerful whirlwind knocking the soldiers backward. The rebellion isn't over, Tenzin's voice boomed through the hall. The guests panicked, fleeing the room in a chaotic scramble. Korra stepped forward, her eyes flashing. You dare, she screamed, in my own home. She lunged at Bolin, her movements a blur of water and ice. But Bolin was ready. He slammed his fists into the ground, sending a spike of lava shooting upward. Korra leaped back, but Mako was already there, hitting her with a concentrated blast of heat that steamed her clothing. We're not here to kill you, Korra, Tenzin shouted, circling above. We're here to show the world that you can be bled, that you can be challenged. Korra roared, entering the avatar state once more. The room became a battlefield of elements. Fire clashed with water, air fought against earth, and the palace itself began to crumble under the strain. But as Korra prepared a final, devastating strike, a voice rang out from the sidelines. Stop it, all of you. Princess Korra stood by the throne, her face pale. Look at the palace. Look at the people. You're destroying everything just to prove who's stronger. Korra paused, her glowing eyes flickering. She looked around at the wreckage, the shattered ice, the terrified nobility, and the ruins of her mother's pride. It doesn't matter, Korra whispered. I can just build it again. But you can't build trust, Tenzin said, landing softly beside her. You can't build a world on fear and expect it to stand. Look at your sister, Korra. Look at the only person in this room who isn't afraid of you, and see why she's the only one who actually loves you. Korra looked at Korra. The younger princess wasn't looking at her with fear, but with a profound, aching sadness. For the first time in her life, the avatar felt the weight of the crown. It wasn't a symbol of power, it was a leaden weight that had crushed the girl she might have been. Get out, Korra said, her voice small. What? Senna asked, stepping forward. Korra, what are you saying? I said get out, Korra screamed, a wave of water pushing her mother back. All of you, leave this place. Tenzin, Mako, and Bolin didn't waste a second. They retreated through the hole in the floor, disappearing into the night. As the dust settled, Korra stood alone in the center of the ruined hall. The silence returned, but it was different now. It wasn't the silence of obedience. It was the silence of a beginning. Empress Senna looked at her daughter, her eyes cold. You have failed, Korra. You let them escape. You let them humiliate us. Korra looked at her mother, and for the first time, she didn't see a queen. She saw a woman who was just as trapped by her own ambition as the prisoners in the dungeons. Maybe, Korra said, a small, genuine smile touching her lips. But for the first time in years, I can actually breathe. Quote.